Hey guys, this is a video that's actually quite a while coming. So, Raid Shadow Legends. I've been playing this for a good little while now. We go here, it actually tracks your daily login rewards as long as you've been logging consistently. So we're on day 68. We just logged in for day 68. And I've been producing content for this and playing it out quite a lot on Twitch. And there's a couple things I wanted to talk about, all kind of under the umbrella of why I play the game. And I wanted to kind of put these ideas out there and get some kind of a feel for what people thought, if they wanted more content, if they had any questions, if they wanted to share anything, things of that nature. And I want to say, I mean, the video title probably says something along this line, but 100% not sponsored. They actually even sponsor a lot of people. They will pretty much pay anyone to play this game so far that I've seen. But this is not a sponsored video. Not only is this not a sponsored video, that I'm making nothing off of this except for, you know, if any YouTube revenue. I am 100% free to play in game, but let's get into that. Let's get into all this topic. So yeah, I've been playing this game for quite a while now, and I'm level 56, as you see here. I've been playing for, as we said, 68 days, and I wanted to go over a few things. But first, let's address some of the criticism that you may have already in your mind if you're not a player of this game, or, you know, when you think of the name of this game, that might pop into your head. And that's that is a free item, but there's a perfect segue into the first piece of criticism. This game is so aggressively advertised, and I'm not gonna dispute that, although I will give some of my relevant points to that later. It constantly, even while you're playing, will pop up trying to sell you stuff in game, and I think that puts a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths. And I'm not gonna deny it. I mean, that it happens. The game advertises very aggressively, and I will admit to that. I'll talk about that more a bit later. The other thing is that this is a gacha game, and so a lot of people think and kind of know that means quite pay to win, or think of that as quite pay to win, or probably think of Raid as quite pay to win, especially with all the advertising that they see. They know that it's like pretty aggressively trying to get your money, and so obviously the game's free to play, but very pay to win. And I'm not going to deny that either, although again, we'll get into that a bit more later. And the other thing is that I think a lot of people that do try the game don't get into it because it's very grindy. And maybe people have the impression, unless you pay money, that you're going to have to grind out like crazy. And I'll get into that a bit later as well. We're going to go over these one at a time, but I wanted to mention those. Those are probably in your mind. And those are true. And those are true. Despite those, though, we're going to talk about why I played the game and why I'm making this video. So first off, the marketing team is very aggressive. They are. And I guess depending on your opinion of that, they either do a good job or an awful job, right? They either have frustrated you so much with the ads everywhere on YouTube and blah, 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 and blah, 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 all over the place, that you're not interested in trying this because it's so aggressively shoved down your throat. But the thing you need to understand regarding Raid is that, yes, that's true. They're very aggressive and they're great or bad at their job. But the thing you need to understand is that they're not the developers. They're not the game designers. They're not the people that make the game and design the gameplay and balance things. Those are different people and, you know, very different jobs. I do think that the game designers do a pretty good job, despite the marketing team being crazy. And I've talked to some people that I've known that haven't played the game or don't really know much about the game except for the ads, and they tend to agree. It's surprisingly deep. The game is surprisingly deep. There's a lot to do if you come here. I've actually showed my fiance this, even though she had no interest in playing the game. But there's 4 difficulties. The campaigns are the same. Like, the acts have the same boss here at the end, but the difficulties do actually have different champions to fight. So if you see here on this one, and then you go here on this one, these guys are the same, but some of the waves will be different in between, and I think some of this is different as well. Actually, you can just click here. So there's like 12 acts, and I'm pretty sure, yeah, all the way along, there's different fights on each of them. Some of them are similar or the same, but almost all of them are different in between the difficulties. So there's 12 acts times 7 in each, so just in one act, that is 84 levels, and then there's 4 difficulties. So that makes up for over 300 something stages to play through. That's a lot. And you can strategize to each of them. Some of them are easier, some of them are harder, and don't really need to. But that, I mean, that's just one game mode, right? There's all these game modes. There's dungeons, which are bosses with like specific rewards, and all of these are quite interesting and different in their own way. And some of them are very, very challenging. Like for example, the spider here is very different from all the rest of them, and so is the Fire Knight. The mechanics are both so. I mean, the Ice Golem is a pretty unique boss as well. It's usually good enough just to have a good team to beat him, though. But yeah, I mean, these all have 25 stages, which again, difficulty varies between them, as well as the rock paper scissors type of matchup almost. Like, you know, these are the different types, like rock paper scissors to explain it simply, and different things are good against, you know, rock beats scissors, paper beats, blah blah blah, stuff like that. And so there's different challenges to each stage as well, as well as different enemies on the way up to the boss, except for the spider. So that's that. And then there's faction wars, which to each faction in the game, there's like 21 stages, and you can only use characters from this faction. And so again, 21, 21, 21, 21, 21. So there's hundreds and hundreds of stages here in this game mode as well. And then there's the arena, which is PvP. There's several arena modes. There's classic and then tag team, which is again a little bit different. So people make their teams 4 champions, 4 champions, 4 champions, up to 4 at least. And then you would try to beat them. And then there's Doom Tower, which is relatively new, but there's 120 floors of Doom Tower, and then there's a Doom Tower Hard. And a lot of this content, like for example, Doom Tower is on rotation, so it changes every month. And there's new bosses coming out actually tomorrow for the Doom Tower that they've just made, and they'll replace some of the existing ones, and there'll be new things for your champions to fight and beat and get new rewards for. And that's another thing. I mean, I didn't expect to talk about this part for so long, but it was just giving a preview of some of the crazy amount of content in the game. And like I was saying, tomorrow you can see in 11 hours. Sorry, I'm in the way. Let me turn off this. In 11 hours, this is when this changes. So very, very frequent patch cycle, especially for a game like this. Most people watching this probably didn't expect that. The other thing I want to talk about is that they surprisingly, despite a very aggressive marketing team that probably has a negative perception in your mind or most people's mind that don't play the game, they actually surprisingly, yeah, surprisingly is the best word to use, listen to an amount of feedback from the community and the content creators. They don't take everything into mind, and they're not the best in terms of this. But as far as a gacha game, I don't think I know of any other gacha game that's like, you know, very, you know, pay to win, that listens to a lot of the people. They listen to feedback and change things, sometimes just within a couple days after an update goes live, depending on what people thought or feel about it. So, I mean, I guess it's pretty good to keep people that are giving you a lot of money happy. So, I think that that surprises me at least. I think with my perception before I played the game. What's the other thing I want to talk about? It's definitely pay to win, in a sense. So let's address that, right? So if you go to the shop, you can buy a lot of things with real money that you can't buy with the in-game currency, which is gems. And you can even buy gems with money. So you can get everything in the game with real money. And it's very pay to win. You can definitely skip ahead. But I want to say a few things about that. Despite this being true, you can see like there are limits on some things. 5 per week, which, I mean, I don't know how much that really matters. It's still pay to win. However, it's entirely free-to-play viable. And the reason I say that is I have been doing free-to-play, and I'm completely new to the game. I've never played it before. This is my first account. And as you can see here, 68 days. I'm completely free-to-play, and I've beaten a lot of the content in the game. And so I'm quite happy the patch cycle is so short, and new stuff is coming out, because I've beaten... This is like a big hallmark here. If you don't play the game, you won't quite know, but the strongest artifacts in the game drop here pretty frequently. Now, they drop more frequently the further you go down, but this is like a very, very big point to hit. Even very, very late game players will still farm this stage sometimes. It's just a very reliable thing to be able to farm. And so I'm getting very powerful items, like very end game items, at my point as a free-to-play player, as a completely new free-to-play player as well. and I'm autoing Ice Golem as well, so I can let it run on its own. It's not really an AFK game, but you could set the game to do a certain amount of battles or use a program to just like click for you. They allow that to run through and just fight these automatically for you while you go, do the dishes. And that's actually something I do very frequently. And so I can beat a lot of these hardest bosses. As you go down here, I can beat that. I can beat a lot of stuff in the game. I can beat this one, this one, this one, this one, all of them, all of these over here. There's only a few, the Spider and the Fire Knight, that I can't beat at a very, very high stage. So I'm getting very big rewards this early in the game that are like potentially very powerful. So it's entirely free to play, and I think free to play for me, or at least being a light spender, I've never spent any money on the game, but I think it's the most interesting way to play. This game has like 600 plus champions in the game. If you look at this, it has so many, 50, 30, 66, 54, and these are just in their factions, right? So you add all these up, there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. Oh, right there, so 260 roughly, and then 500, and then another. So there's actually 700 now in the game. And they all are different. Now, some of them do very similar things, but some of them are entirely unique and have no mechanics with other champions in the game. And so when I'm doing free-to-play, because you don't get a lot of champions or chances at good champions, you still have to open a random shard to get something. It really changes your account. You use what you have and what you've gotten, and it shapes the way you can play. And when you get a big open, like if you were to pull something really big and exciting, I have a good example here. I got a legendary that was quite hard to get, like a 1% or something. I got this champion, and maybe you don't know what she is or what she does, but she's like one of the best tanks in the game. Very, very, very good, like top tier tank. You can actually check reviews. So this is out of 5, 4.9, 4.8, 4.8, 4.8, 4.9, 4.9, 4.9, 4.2, 4.8, 4. So you get the point. She's very, very good. And I actually haven't been able to build her yet because you have to slowly build her up over time and it takes resources. But she changed my account and she's going to enable me to do so many things that I may not have been able to do otherwise when I get her built. And I think it's quite exciting. And this is not to go on too far of a tangent. I want to keep this video around 15 minutes. But it's a good time to do free to play now if you did want to try. You get a free legendary champion for signing in based on Ninja, the Twitch streamer. You get a free legendary champion just for playing by signing in. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to go, you don't spend money. You don't have to even play the game. You just open the game 7 days in a row and you can get this guy right now. And you'll have him forever. And he goes away after a while. He's actually very good. He's being used a lot of places. You can check his reviews here too. It's being used a lot of places by a lot of people, even some very late game players. So you get this guy 100% for free right now, which is not something they often do, because again, they're pay to win. So yeah, I think for me, I would have given up on the game a long time ago if I was a pay to win player. I think a lot of people end up with frustration over not being able to skip enough progress-wise being pay to win, and they'll probably give up. And that will lead us into the last point here. Let me just make sure I've gone over everything that I just wanted to talk about. Yeah, it takes a lot of money to skip progression. I think it would frustrate a lot of people, and yeah, if you spend hundreds and thousands of dollars, and some people do, you can skip pretty far ahead of most people, but the amount of money you'd have to invest to really make a considerable skip in the game, especially with a lot of things having a time gate, and I'm not saying it's not pay to win, it's 100% pay to win, but it's just not reasonable for most people to spend enough money to actually skip super far ahead. It's just not reasonable. They've got some, and this is not really something that would be that exciting. Like for me, this $10 upgrade, it would be helpful, but it's not insane. And like, this is $30, and this would probably not change my account at all. Maybe a little, but like, with the progression that I've made, this is helpful, but it's not even that crazy. And I mean, this would make almost no difference. So it's just like, even this $50 pack, these would allow me to upgrade a lot of champions. But this would skip me ahead maybe 2 weeks for $50. Like with where I'm at, the progression that I'm making, how steady and consistent I've been able to play through the game, this $50 pack would maybe save me 2 weeks of playtime, maybe. So I mean, it is very grindy, which is our next point. But I think the pay to win mindset is like quite difficult in this game. They either get a lot of money out of you or you're not going to make enough progress. So again, it's a negative and a positive, right? I'm not tempted to buy any of this because I've learned the game and made myself make the progress on my own. So that none of this is not even tempting anymore. I don't think I would ever spend money now. And I don't know what it would take for me. But, and that leads us to the last point. So the game is very grindy. And I think that if you have tried this game, there's a very good chance that might have been what got you out of it. Either maybe you kind of got lost or weren't, that interested, or you weren't making much progress or understanding what progress you were making, and so you gave up. And it's true. It is very grindy, but you got to understand the way this game is designed. If you look here, this is after days of logging in. After 30 days of logging in, you get this champion. I am still using her. She's actually quite good. And then the next good one down here is 120 days of logging in every day. You don't have to play, but you'd have to open the game that day. And this is just their design from the outset. They update every couple weeks or every month at the latest. And otherwise, there's not a lot of new stuff to do. There's always something you can work on and improve to get ready for the new stuff coming out. But you just play a little bit here and there quite casually for most people, and you do it over time. And I mean, this is a really big game changer here. This first 180-day reward, this is a very, very strong champion. I don't have her yet. I'm excited to one day get her. But and then this one here as well, 270 days. Again, just from the very beginning, it's designed that way. So yes, it's very grindy, but that's just the way they've designed the game. I don't love it. It's not my favorite thing. I would like to be able to skip ahead at times, but maybe I would have stopped by now too if I could just beat everything. So it's not for everyone, 100%. Is it necessarily bad or wrong? No, it is grindy, though. I mean, a lot of games are grindy. I don't think that's necessarily against it. I wanted to say, too, I automate a lot of the grind. They allow this. I don't know what you would, come to think of the developers or how this makes you feel about the game. But you are allowed to set up things to click for you while you go do something else. You're allowed to set up macros and all kinds of things. I do it frequently. The game can be played, for me, with how much content I have unlocked, I could probably play like 6 hours a day. I play actively maybe 1 to 2 hours, maybe, unless there's something really exciting going on that day, some big event, because they have events as well, as you see tournaments and events all the time. So unless there's something very exciting or interesting going on that day, I play actively maybe an hour or two. It's just so easy to automate, and I'll go exercise, or I'll do a school assignment, or I'll go do the dishes, and I think that's something for me at my stage in life that's actually perfect. Because I can automate a lot of the grind and still feel like I'm making progression and still feel like I'm playing a game, but I can go be responsible, like do schoolwork because I'm back in school now for the first time in years, or, whatever it needs to be, clean up the house. I think that it's let me feel like putting a lot of hours into this grindy, addicting game at the same time as like being a responsible adult and trying to get a job again and go back to school and do all this other stuff and try to be healthy and work out, because during COVID I've not been, but now I'm back to it. So I think that's really been a big selling point of the game for me, because I can automate so much and play a little bit here and there and still feel like I'm making progress on a game that's actually got pretty active like social aspects to it. I'm in a clan that's a pretty active clan. Actually, this is the clan button. And we have 30 members. You could only have 30 at max. And then this is actually one of my buddies from my stream is the leader. Where is he? His name is Grom Mistake. Yeah, so he's been playing a while, a couple years. And he's the leader. And so I know him and I've known him for a while. And he's the clan leader. And so, I mean, you could talk to these people. There's a clan chat and you can post stuff and discuss strategies and what you think, blah, blah, blah. And so, I mean, again, that also keeps it pretty interesting and really enjoyable for me as well. The game's community is surprisingly not what I expected. They're very, very chill, like adult type people. And I think the game's design, those that stick with it, the instant gratification of most gacha games isn't really here. Like, yeah, you can drop $100 and open up a couple shards and that'd be exciting. But the average player in this game that sticks with it that I've spoken to saves up everything, all their rewards and stuff, until there's a good event to open them. They're like adults managing their credit card, like responsibly. It's really interesting, and they've been very mature and very cool to talk to and to interact with. And the game is very easy to do that because you can play on. I mean, if we go to a dungeon here, you can play on auto. I'll go and do the dragon here. So I could just sit there and read chat, discuss with them about whatever happened with their day, and then the game can play itself. And again, maybe that's a negative for you, maybe that's a positive. But for me, I'm not, I don't hate it. And let me see if I have any last points to talk about. Yeah, when you do finally make progress, especially again as me as a free-to-play player, when I started being able to beat this dungeon that I'm running here on auto now, it's so big for me. Because the rewards I get are only good. Whereas before, when I was playing and making very, very slow progress, it's harder to progress when you can't get guaranteed good rewards. You just have a chance at them. And so when I finally got here and I was able to beat this, and now I've been farming this here a little bit in the past few days, this has dropped so many good rewards that are now improving my 100% free-to-play account so quickly that it's been really, really exciting. But yeah, I think that's all I have to say. If I've forgotten any criticism or whatever, if you want to share some of your criticism or thoughts about the game, or ask any questions about the game, don't forget to leave that down below as a comment. If you'd like to learn the game or what have you, you can join the Discord. I actually have a channel where I discuss the game and what you pulled, what you opened, what your strategy is for the game, blah, blah, blah. I have a Discord link down below. All kinds of cool stuff in there as well for other games and for weekly giveaways that I pay for myself. And yeah, if you want to ask any questions, leave any feedback that I didn't address or that you have about the game or concerns or worries, leave that all below. Like the video if you liked it or enjoyed at least the informative content. Dislike it if you didn't. Let me know. Maybe you hate Raid and you want me to not upload it, so let me know. Disliking, maybe leaving a comment. And don't forget to follow if you guys do want more of this. I also wanted to release this to see if there's any desire for me to make this a series. If people are interested to see more and want me to upload this regularly. I already do a little bit of uploading when I opened like 1,000 shards. It was crazy. Transformed my account, opened so many shards, and most of them weren't good and I didn't use. But some of the big things that I opened during that video I uploaded before, oh my gosh, this guy right here, for example, is like, that's the reason I can do a lot of the dungeons on like their way harder stage. Yeah, let me know. Leave any feedback, etc. in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe. I'm so used to streaming on Twitch. And join the Discord if you're interested. And I will see you guys next time. There's all the info linked down below if you guys need more. If you want the Discord or whatever. I'll see you guys in the next video. Happy gaming, guys. God bless. Take care.